Hello everyone, it's Disco here. How are we? I hope you love my new jacket. Yes, I am actually wearing something new. My support worker took me out for my birthday and I got a new jacket. So, yay me. Okay, down to the topic at hand. I was reading my book called Asperger's and I was also going through the internet and I happened to come across a little bit of an article and it was talking about how girls are normally presenting with autism as children and how they can be misdiagnosed as adults. And I thought this was interesting, so I'm going to read out some of the signs in children and girls, and you can tell me what you think about these signs because I can see just going by these how they could easily be misconstrued. I'll throw in my little commentary after each one, don't worry. You know me. It'll be as usual, not what you would expect. Never emotionally correct. But that's what I do. Okay, so I've got it written down on a piece of paper. I'm organized. I actually was organized this time. I'm trying really hard, even though it's like 11 o'clock at night, so that bit's not organized. It's always one thing or the other. It's never everything organized. That's just not something that happens. But anyway, focusing. Okay, first sign that you could have a girl with autism, the special interests. Special interests could be in animals, music, art, and literature. I don't know, but you could have a boy. He could also be on the spectrum. That's really not a lot. Interested in animals? Well, boys like dogs. Boys could be in band. There's a lot of male artists. Look at Leonardo da Vinci. Shakespeare wrote. That's really not a lot to go by. I mean, I could pretty much tick all of those boxes. I used to raise caterpillars when I was a little girl into butterflies. Music, I had an obsession with music. Absolutely obsessed. Still do now. My dad used to have a book on rock and roll music that was from the 50s up to a certain point in the 80s. I was very upset by the fact that a lot of the songs were not written in there, so I would go to the artist when I found out the actual year a song was released and I would write it in that book. I was correcting a book as a little girl. That's how much it upset me. So music as well, art. I've also done a lot of art. I've been to an art college. Yeah, that's bragging rights. So that was for fun. But yeah, art, oil on canvas. Excuse me. Oil on canvas, working with pottery, all that sort of stuff. Watercolors. I've done that. Literature. I do write fan fiction. I'm not saying it's good fan fiction, but I'm saying I do write fan fiction. Lots of different topics, all of that sort of stuff. Into Doctor Who, I'm into horror stuff. Lots of different fandoms are being crossed. So yeah, it's fun. One day I might tell you about it. If anyone's interested, maybe I will. But I think if you actually read down my interests, you'll probably work out where I'm actually into these things. But anyway, moving along. The next sign that you may have a girl who has autism is they may display, hang in with me here, a strong imagination. Oh, wait, there's more. They might escape into the world of nature or fiction. I know, they'll have an imagination. Oh my god, what next? They'll get out of the kitchen and start having jobs? Oh my god. Scandalous. El scandalo. Really? An imagination. See my point above. Fanfiction. What? They will have an imagination? How many kids have dreams and they're role playing and I don't get that. How would you tell? Ay ay ay. This is like getting harder and harder. I mean, how many boys wanted to be He-Man when they were kids? I mean, they weren't autistic. They just wanted to be He-Man. Okay, moving on to the next one. Let's see, a desire to arrange and organize objects. Now, there was a valid point that I did see about girls wanting to organize dolls. Now, that's valid, because what are dolls there for? It should be organized. You have the clothes. A lot of girls will put the dresses in a certain place. You may just think, oh, my kid's not throwing them into a pile of mess. Okay, yay, she's actually putting the dresses away in the wardrobe that came with the doll. This is great, fantastic. You wouldn't bat an eye. But then again, I mean, if you've got a boy and he's putting Legos away, you probably think, yay, he's not just leaving them on the floor for me to do the Lego Firewalk of Doom. You'd be going, yeah, he's putting his Legos away. But the stereotype of girls and dolls, that unfortunately is still very prevalent. Gendering is still extremely common. I've seen it in kindies and all that. Well, my son's only just coming up towards 7. So if we're going back as far as babies, and gendering is still, there's still gendered clothes, gendered toys, and given his level of autism, I don't worry about things that are girly. He's got a kitchen sink toy. So yeah, he does not care. He likes the repetitiveness of washing dishes, obviously, but that could be misinterpreted if someone wanted to. He used to like wearing the Fairy Queen dresses, but then again, the way they fan out when he twirls around, he likes the feeling. It's nothing to do with it being a dress. However, it could be misconstrued once again. You see the gendering. But then again, the way they create these things, it's all towards girls. A pram. I went into Kmart to try and purchase a pram for my son to push. And all the prams they had were pink. The only other option was purple. I'm thinking, where's a blue one for a boy? They had green things, but they did not ever have blue. Just about everything was pink. Baby bottles, baby bags, anything you could want for a baby doll was all pink. It was literally put in the girliest girls section. There was nothing there for a boy. They made it very clear, baby dolls are for girls. That saddened me quite a lot. So that also has to be addressed. But it is, in all fairness, the same with the boys section. That is very gendered as well. And as long as we continue to have those divides up, it's not going to help. So moving away from that, I still say equality. I was a tomboy growing up, and I would not say I'm very, very girly. I'm a neutral in that regard, I suppose. But I would say, tomboy-wise, we need to have neutral. That's a better way to go. But not wanting to play cooperatively with female peers, dictating rules of play, or preferring to play alone and maintain control. So in other words, being bossy, as some would put it, and being a loner. Well, that's a normal trait that a lot of kids have. A lot of kids are just bossy, boys or girls. And a lot of kids play alone because they just don't want to play with other kids. They may not like those kids. Maybe they haven't found a best friend yet. See, these are all very vague. That's the thing that gets me. I matched up with all these symptoms and I never even registered. Well, there was some suspicion raised when I was 6. Our parents never bothered even going through with the actual test to do the second round to see if I did have it later on in a couple of years. They really didn't care. My family for you. My family's a circus. Oh, that's the way I look at it. Wasn't a good home life. But we're not talking about my home life now. Let's go back to this. So we've also got mimicking others in social situations to blend in. Now that's an interesting one, because I would have liked more explanation on that. Because how specifically is the child mimicking others? They didn't explain whether it was speech patterns, whether it was physical behaviour that was being copied, as in replication specifically after the person has done it, or whether it's mimicking adults. That would have been very interesting to see because, I mean, I do mimicry. I'm very skilled at it. When I want to do it, I'm quite good. But then again, I was good at it as a child. And I modelled my mimicry on adults, which made it very difficult to get along with children. When your thoughts, behaviours, and conversations are modelled on adult level, you tend not to have any connection with children. So I suppose this could be what they're referencing if I use personal experience. If they pick other children to role model, then they could easily blend into other social circles and chameleon their way in. I did that in high school. Worked for a little while. And then you find out high school means nothing. If you are young out there, just remember that. High school means nothing because you will never see those people again, and then you're in the real world. Then it matters. Okay, what's the next one? An ability to hold emotions in check at school, but be prone to meltdowns at home and explosive behaviour. So, be neurotypical at school, but autistic at home. I'm really not sure how to process that one. I've never experienced that, so I have no comment on that except for just dolphin noises. I'm just sitting here just going, I really don't know. I can try and reference my son here. He's recently had to change over to Intuitive, and there has been some instance where he has aggression towards only 4 children in his class, 4 specific children. And his behaviour recently has been getting a little bit out of hand, so I did have to contact his paediatrician. And I've been instructed to raise his medication to the second tablet. He takes one in the morning, and now he's taking one at night. So that has now been that has now been implemented. So he's starting to show some signs of improvement now, which is good. We're on the right track. So that could be what they're referencing. Yeah, there's some ability to mask the symptoms in a school system, but then at home they have no ability to mask it. That could very much be what's referenced. And also the last one here is strong sensory sensitivity to sound or touch. For example, clothing tags, socks, or even deodorant. Now, I always had the one with sound. I've always been sensitive with sound. Some sounds are loud enough to actually make my eardrums hurt. But I haven't had any physical issues. I mean, I have preferences when it comes to clothes. Like, I always like the jeans. I always like a jacket. I always like joggers. And I never wear hats. And I prefer to gel my hair down or whatever so it doesn't move. I don't like my hair moving. So there's that. This is out of my field of knowledge, but I would love to know what you have to think on this. Tell me what your thoughts are. So please, by all means, drop me a comment downstairs if you have the time. But it has been interesting sharing this with you. Have a great day or night, or have fun whatever you're doing. And I will catch up with you in my next video. Much love from Disco.